What is up, down and sideways, you lovely individuals? It's League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys to begin a look at quarterfinals at the World Championship 2020. DRX and Damwon kicking things off, rematch of the finals from the LCK. But before we're diving in to the actual series, my real favorite part of Worlds, and because we're in this COVID world where there's no fans, we got to rely on the augmented reality openings. They had it again. The lady was dancing. The theme for this one was water. I don't know why, but it was water.
Hey, Splashdown at League of Legends going on for this quarterfinals. Look, the augmented reality that we're seeing, it's some of the best in the world. Not just, in the presentation for sporting events and whatnot. In the world to get this level of augmented reality and the interaction that you can have with it. Pretty fun, pretty special times to get to enjoy that. But the main course for everybody was that LCK rematch. It was getting to see Damwon and DRX duke it out for the first matchup in the quarterfinals.
And I will say, I know it's the same venue. They obviously have such limited resources compared to what they would want for the 10th World Championship. It's getting stale. They can't just do this for semis and finals. They got to go. I'm sure they have something insane planned for finals at the very least, where it goes above and beyond what we've already seen. But this, I thought it'd get crazier when knockouts rolled around. And listen, you're right. This augmented reality is insane. I'm just spoiled. That's all.
Hey, we're very fortunate to be spoiled by this, but I'll say, does leave you feeling like, man, we've seen stuff that you would reserve for the LPL finals for these type of events. The level of flash seen by some of this augmented reality. I'll say it. I'll make the prediction. They've been saving it since 2017. He's been in a cage waiting for this. The Elder Dragon, he's going to make his big return out for the World Championship.
I'm expecting Baron. Screw Elder. It's Baron's turn to show up on the field.
No. This is revamped, retooled Elder Dragon. True. So this is the one with the buff.
He's better than Baron. You don't.
This is what you want.
Yeah. Baron. Sorry, you got skipped out on, buddy.
We've been you got 4 Infernal Drakes stacked up on this one.
Oh my God, that's a scary looking dragon. Yeah, there was a series, and here's the thing. We previewed the quarterfinals just yesterday, and I said all these matchups are bangers. There's no way there's going to be a 3-0. Well, didn't wait long for us to be proven completely wrong, and obviously Damwon were huge favorites coming into this. So let's immediately nip this in the bud, because whenever DRX, whatever Chovy loses, you see in post-game threads on Twitter, wherever, Choki's back. Choki makes another appearance. They lost 3-0. It's not Choki. Maybe you could say he underperformed a little bit, but he's not Choki, guys. Come on, leave him alone.
Yeah, and to what degree is the underperforming really that you're going to be looking at? I think there's a couple times you maybe would have asked to pull the trigger, maybe to make a couple of different decisions, make a couple calls to the rest of the team. Sure, that can be it. But obviously, the weight of this blame, the weight of this failure should not be resting on Choki, as people want to make that meme. Not the case in this situation. And this isn't just protecting this dude. Look at the games. Look at what he had to play. And all of them, we'll go through them. But man, he played Syndra, he played Galio, and then he went spicy and played the Vel'Koz. So you had the traditional, mage damage coming through. You had the Galio to try and help, the engage, the protection that Galio can offer, and to help out the rest of the lanes, that ability with the ultimate. And then you had the Vel'Koz, the spicy pick that a lot of people like LS have been calling to see more so in the meta for what seems like months at this point. But then also the problem with that Vel'Koz pick, and I think this is, kind of goes into some of these other things as well with the rest of DRX. You had Chovy on the Vel'Koz. You had him playing the Vel'Koz well. You had him farming up strong. Where was the team fights that the Vel'Koz really needs and that you want the Vel'Koz in to make those engages? It just wasn't happening.
Yeah, and if you just look at the games, there were other issues, bigger issues than what Chovy's performance was in the mid lane. As we dive into the actual games, game 1 it was a weird one. It was very slow. There weren't many kills for a long time. Somehow, Jhin and Leona are getting up 20 CS on Caitlyn Lulu, and the bot lane underperformance was absolutely carried over from what we saw in the LCK finals. And then all of a sudden, there's these key objectives where DRX just aren't contesting. It's an uncontested third dragon. All of a sudden, Infernal Soul, after Chovy one of his mistakes, has a whiff on his ultimate on the Orianna in the bot lane, and then all of a sudden, it's a dragon. Not even fights. They're getting uncontested objectives, and DRX, they're not even getting anything else on the map.
Yeah, and look, you've heard us talk about this a lot of times about as far as it's okay to give up these objectives as long as you're proactive and understanding that if that time, that attention is spent for that objective, however long it takes to take it, however many people are going to be involved there, you need to maximize what you're able to get across the map, whether that's taking away farms, taking your own farms to reset the counters, making sure you're in your lanes, farming the minions properly, setting up your waves. These type of things are incredibly important in that vital window that it is when the other team is taking that objective, because otherwise, as you see in this game, you're slowly stacking up those buffs that aren't going to be going away on the other side and letting them get to that all-important soul point, which, of course, as we know, it's a pretty much a game ender.
It's GG in a lot of the games, and it's just amazing that Damwon, this is a lot of, DRX not knowing what to do, and Damwon just playing the map perfectly. They didn't even have a big gold lead. I think it was 2,000 when they're getting uncontested massive objectives. That's just how well they play around the map.
Yeah, and you mentioned it in this game one. It absolutely was an issue, and it's something that you saw. Unfortunately, we move on throughout the series, throughout the course of this series, was the bot lane difference, and that's that's a surprise to everybody when you're talking about the duo of Ghost and Barrel, and that's not meant to be anything against Ghost and Barrel. It's just that you're going up against one of the legends in death on the other side, and of course, as well with Kyria, someone that a lot of people have been saying, despite his age, one of the best performing, mechanically gifted supports that we have right now. And they were taken to task by this bot lane from Damwon.
If it was spring bot lane for DRX, I think you're talking about a different series entirely with them playing at that level. It just wasn't there in summer. It continued to not be there in Worlds. Game 2, though, it looked like it could be a bounce back for DRX. The Aphelios for Ghost, Senna for Deft. Doran had the Jace in Game 1, followed it up with another carry in Game 2 on that Jax, and DRX wins a big extended fight in the jungle. They're all of a sudden up 2,000 gold, and it's looking good for DRX.
Yeah, but the big problem for DRX and for Doran on that Jax, which to his credit got some advantages in his favor. There was a bigger carry on the other team, and his name is ORNN. Big ol' Orin was there, and he was there to answer.
Mark, he's a tank. He's not a carry.
Oh boy, you watch that gameplay and you tell me that guy is not a carry, assassin, mage, tank, healer, support, whatever role you want to put on. Hey, Orin is filling that bill in League of Legends, and piloted by Nagari in this one. Yeah, it took some time, and he wasn't maybe the main focal point all the time, but he absolutely was crucial and necessary. And again, the ornaments, that is the big one again, because he is such a powerful pick right now that the problem is you're not able to build as a team even enough advantages most of the time. By the time that level 13 ticks and you start getting those ornaments in and you start spreading them to the rest of his teammates as those levels go up, you're in such a hole and such a deficit of power that it's almost impossible to climb out of.
He's basically giving you 1,000 gold every level as a team. Turrets are 600.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
He's almost giving you 2 turrets of gold to the team overall. So yeah, even gold leads at that point are almost irrelevant. But there was the fight in the mid lane where I had to do a double take because the amount of damage that Damwon was taking in that fight, I thought they had Mountain Soul. They only had 1 Mountain Dragon, but they were not taking any damage.
It's insane watching those team fights come through. And I think one of the things that you saw in Game 1, and even in this Game 2, when you now have the pressure of having already dropped a game, it didn't feel like respect. It felt like apprehension. It felt like a nervousness of even engaging onto this squad of Damwon, knowing the skill and how that they can respond. That's what it felt like, more or less, from me, from DRX, was recognizing that, look, there might still be some scars mentally, either consciously or subconsciously, from that finals you had against them, where you got pumped, and then you see them go all the way to Worlds, and they're pumping everybody else at Worlds. You've had not exactly the best of starts you'd be looking for, and then you see it in this gameplay. That stomp, Game 1, getting that early victory, and you saw it in Game 2, a little bit of that apprehension, and just even that little second of it is enough for a team like Damwon to take full advantage or to get another rotation, another start of some spells in. And that can be the end of your life looking at that gray screen.
And then, Damwon snowballs it pretty quickly after they win that fight. But to their credit, the first 2 games were both 35 minutes plus. So that's an improvement on what the LCK finals
longer
was.
Than what the rest, longer than what, let alone the LCK finals, what everyone else has been having to go up against with Damwon so far at Worlds. So I guess silver linings heading into Game 3 for DRX.
So we go to that third game, and remember, I said Damwon's going to go up 2-0. DRX climbs back and forces a Game 5. It didn't happen. Now we jump back to IG versus Griffin last year at Worlds, where Chovy gets put on Sion mid. He's playing Poppy, and everyone's screaming, "Put Chovy on carries. Why is he playing Sion in the most important game of the year?" This game, they say, CV Max says, no tanks for you, Chovy. We got a spicy one for you. We got the Vel'Koz in that third game. But the problem is, he's basically irrelevant in this game because there's never any extended team fights. He's never able to get poke off. All that happens is DRX gets caught top, mid, bot the entire game out by Damwon because they're disgustingly good at vision control.
Yeah, the vision control is absolutely the key to me in this Game 3. You look at the score lines on the side of Damwon, how they're able to do it. Canyon and Showmaker, those are your big stars from this one, and what they were able to do, how they were able to work together was one of the special things I thought you saw in this Game 3. And yeah, the Vel'Koz pick, spicy. Yeah, LS is loving it. Yeah, and he's right for loving this pick. But the problem was getting that power onto the Vel'Koz. Sure, you got it there, but you never were able to utilize it in the right opportunities. Or in opportunities that you were able to utilize it, the rest of the team was not in a strong enough position in order to hold out those fights long enough. It just never worked out, and that's one that I think is really unfortunate because I like that move. I like that confidence to say, look, backs against the wall. We need to come up with something. Let's go with something different. And again, I like this a hell of a lot more than going to the Sion you did last time. So this is certainly an improvement. Unfortunately, improvement doesn't matter in the eyes of Damwon because they say 3-0, we're moving on.
Yeah, you're better. Great. It was a slightly longer 3-0. And Canyon even styling on Piosik with his own one-trick champion in Kindred. He had some nasty outplays on him specifically. And you look at the series as a whole, Kyria, Braum, Tom Kench, Lulu. I know he's underperformed in summer, but you need him on playmakers. That's when DRX was at their best.
This is clearly, to me, a misread on the meta, right? Understanding that, okay, these are the certain things. These are, maybe trying to protect the nerves on some of these picks. But eventually, at a certain point, like we talked about with Chovy and the Vel'Koz pick, your back's against the wall, and you got to come up with something. And as we know, when DRX have been at their best, it's when Kyria's been allowed to play freely, when he's been allowed to really go at it on any of these champions. And you're telling me that, again, a player with this type of skill couldn't come up with something to change it up, to shake it up, to shake anything up, even, let alone the game, even in that bot side matchup, in that 2v2, which they were losing, which again,
3 games in a row.
Losing as one of the best, support prospects that we're talking about almost ever, as far as at least in his first year. And then Def, if not your best ADC of all time, he's either your second or third best ADC, because
not this year.
He's not outside of your top 3 of all time. But yeah, this year's performance has not been up to that level. And it's extremely unfortunate because when you look at this DRX lineup, you looked at what they had and what you were going to count as, question mark, what you thought was going to be shaky at times and would provide some other power. When you looked at Depth and you looked at Chovy, those had to be your pillars. You looked at them to be your superstar level of play. I think throughout the course of the entire year, you got more than you bargained for from Chovy. And that's saying a lot, given what you were expecting from him and a lot of people expect from him in the first place. Def did not live up to those expectations this year. And as someone who's a huge Def fan, it's really unfortunate that I have to say that.
Big credit to Damwon, of course. They continue to completely annihilate everybody. And the last thing, the surprise when it comes to pick ban, is Doran. 3 carries in this game. He played, or this series. Jace, Jax, and the Vladimir in Game 3. Meanwhile, Nuggery, who you look at that matchup and it's like, oh, Nuggery is going to annihilate Dorn. He plays Ornn 2 out of the 3 games, and I mean, to his credit, he picked up Player of the Game in 2 of the 3 games on that pick.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is maybe the mindset, but I was looking at that one as like, look, Ornn is the perfect pick that you'd want for Dorn at this point, given how, again, pretty darn easy to pilot at this point, or pilot it to a very strong performance. And then from that point on, it's the extra advantages that we talked about for the rest of the teammates, helping them out is the big advantage that you'd be looking at on the side of DRX. And again, the question is, if you're taking these, carries into someone like Nuggery, you have to be able to get that advantage to make it matter, to make it stick in the later game. It did not stick in almost any of these matchups, and let alone in most of those matchups, pretty much outside of the Jacks. I don't think you got anywhere close to getting some type of substantial lead.
And the problem going up against Damwon, okay, you pick Ornn, you say, let's scale, guys. DRX, we're going for the late game. Damwon says, great. Game's over at 22 minutes. Okay. Okay. We'll pick the early game as DRX. We'll try and snowball over Damwon. But they're so damn good at team fighting, it doesn't matter if they're down a couple thousand gold. If, God forbid, that happens, they're going to come back into the game just because they're better at vision control, they're better team fighting, and they're better at trading objectives around the map. So you look at that and you go, tough series, guys.
Yeah, and I'm going to be careful because I don't want to jump the gun on this praise on Damwon, but what you see from them and what we've seen from Damwon seems to be, again, like we were talking, like we wanted to see in spring, we saw in summer, and it's really been kicked up, obviously, is the growth from last year, the lessons learned from a Worlds experience a year ago. I think as far as this series goes and how they performed and what they were looking at, handling themselves internationally, as you said, the vision control, the expansion on that, I think that has certainly been lessons that you're seeing improved upon and taken to the next level from last year's failure at Worlds for Damwon.
And they continue to look like one of the tournament favorites. They face the winner of G2 Gen G. Either one will be a fun matchup, but I'm honestly hoping for G2 because you get the rematch from last year. Worlds is still going on strong, but hey, we already got off-season news. Potential. Rumors for now, but it sounds like, based on a couple of Turkish and Spanish sources, that the Mad Lions are looking for a new top laner, and what better spot to look than the top laner that booted you from the World Championship. We talked about the LCS. They don't want to scrim against Academy players because they get outperformed, they take their spot. It happened on the world stage to a Rome. Armut looks like he might be going to Mad Lions.
Do not let people in North America know about this story, because if they find out, I don't want to go to any international events, man. I'm gonna get my job.
Yeah, the guy's gonna replace me.
Oh man, it's a feel sad situation for Rome, but obviously, if this rumor does come through, I think you're looking at the power that this can bring a team like the Mad Lions. Yes, the Mad Lions need to show us a lot of things moving forward, but there were a lot of positives this year and a lot of positives moving forward. One of them being their performance online. That was the big one when the broadcast had to step away. Their performance seemed to step up away from the stage. But when you go back, that's where it wasn't really living up to that performance. And one of the players specifically was in that top side in a Rome, especially internationally, in these matchups being taken advantage of. You add in Armut, that solidifies things quite a bit.
Yeah, the top lane's the only spot that you would want to see Mad Lions make a change heading into next year. Everyone's talking, where's Alfari going to go? Hope he doesn't stay suffering on Origin or Astralis now. So we'll see where he goes. But yeah, I think Armut would be an immediate upgrade for them, and Mad Lions would look even stronger. So yeah. I'm good. I hope this comes true.
I'd be really happy to see something like this come through. And again, this is one of those ones where you continue to develop with Shadow. You have Humanoid being Humanoid in the mid lane, no problem. And then you have Karzi and Kaiser down in the bottom side. That's what you like to see for the Mad Lions. This could be something exciting moving forward. I think that's a good addition.
It's just, not to harp or talk about Mad Lions again, but it's so ridiculous that your career seems so short when as rookies you have a disappointment on the world stage and it's like, oh, done, washed up. You can't be washed up when you're a rookie, guys. That's not how it works.
It's just crazy because, again, everybody wants to jump in. Everyone gets their hot take in. Everybody wants to be right all the time. But a lot of times, you know what? Taking a step back, having a level head, being a little bit cool, and waiting on it sometimes can be better. And again, some things don't happen overnight. They don't happen over 2 nights. They don't happen over 3 nights. It takes a lot of time sometimes to get things to happen. And sometimes as you're talking player development, you're talking about organizational development, it can take longer, and you got to take steps. And you know what? For me, at the very least, with this Mad Lions, the roster there, the core roster, they showed enough positive steps this year to keep investing, to keep moving forward with this group, to keep making tweaks to help them, to give them better support. One right here is adding in a player like Armut would absolutely be a good addition.
Yeah, and Mad Lions already looking at 2021, while Damwon are one step closer to their first World Championship and the LCK's first one since 2017. But that's it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. We'll be bringing you more quarterfinal action as it rolls into the weekend. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll catch you on the flippity flop.